Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and Apple's upcoming iPhone 16 looks like it's going to get a little bit more color this time around. So I thought we'd talk about what to expect, what the design is like, how it compares to the current lineup, and what you can expect as far as the chipsets and the event. The first thing is, every year Apple has an event where they introduce new iPhones. This year should be no different, and they typically send out those Apple invites by the end of August. Last year it was the end of August, and then they held it on September 12th. This year should be no different, and we can expect that sometime around then, with a launch later in September, maybe within a week or so after that, with iOS 18 launching the Monday before. So that's typically what we see every year, so I thought we'd talk about what we expect this year. And again, you can see we have more vibrant colors. We expect an iPhone 16, iPhone 16 Plus, iPhone 16 Pro, and iPhone 16 Pro Max. Maybe we'll take a look at the iPhone 16 Pro colors a little bit later. But as far as the colors this year, well, you can see they look a little bit different. We have a new blue color, which looks really great. In fact, this one's my favorite so far. We have a different colored sort of surrounded frame, and then we have a slightly different color back. No more super light colors or cloud blue, as I called it last year, sort of infused glass. This year it looks like they're going to get more vibrant. But first, let's take a look around the outside edge. So if we take a look at this one, what we can see is it now has an action button. It's expected to be exactly like this, and every year case manufacturers actually use these models to make the cases to get them ready for launch. So we know these are pretty spot on as far as the way they look. The camera module could change a little bit as far as what you see under the glass, but basically it's going to be the same thing. Of course, on one side, we're going to have our power sleep wake button, and if we compare that to the current model that we have here, you'll see it looks very, very similar. So no differences there, but we do have what looks to be a capture button. However, instead of this being a capture button, it could just be millimeter wave, but on the Pro models, we are expecting a different button as well. On the bottom, we don't expect much of a change here, maybe an increase in the speed of the USB-C port, but you'll see it looks basically the same. Even the antenna line is in the same position. And then on the other side, again, volume buttons, but instead of a silent switch, we'll get a programmable action button like we currently have. So pretty much the same as far as that goes. With the display, we're expecting a slight increase as far as size from 6.1 to 6.3 inches with thinner bezels. So it's expected to have a thinner bezel overall and a slightly larger display because of that. We're still expecting the dynamic island, the same placement for the speaker and microphones. And also on the back, this is where we get the largest change. You'll see the camera module is now sort of in a vertical arrangement. The reason for this seems to be more so you could take spatial photos and videos for Apple Vision Pro. So instead of having them sort of horizontally opposed that way, or sort of kitty corner or whatever you want to call this, we now would have them in a vertical arrangement in this camera module with a microphone here and a flash off to the side. We do expect it to have a glass back as well, but no longer the infused glass like we have here, or with blue, we expect a much more vibrant color this time around. Now, I sort of liked these cloud blue colors or very light colors, but some people said they need to be a little bit darker. And I agree it would be nicer to have a little bit more color in them, but they do look nice and the texture on these is great. As far as the internal specs, well, this should be great for most people, is we're expecting A18 Bionics or A18 Pro or maybe a non-Pro, basically some variant of the A18 in all iPhones this year. It should have some thermal improvements and at least 8 gigabytes of RAM to help with Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is expected to come to all of the models of iPhone 16 instead of just maybe the Pro models. So we hopefully will see that. We should hopefully get an updated modem, Wi-Fi 7, and with the cameras, an upgraded 48 megapixel camera and ultra-wide update. So hopefully we'll see all of those things, but we definitely expect this to be the form factor. When it comes to the colors, well, you can see these here where we have this blue and green color being sort of the new color, along with maybe pink, but this gives you an idea of what to expect. The green is sort of a little bit different than I would have expected, and you can see the outside frame, again expected to be aluminum, is a little bit different as well. So they have different shades. I'm not sure if that's how it's actually going to be, but it looks pretty nice overall. So again, we're going to have a blue, a green, a white, a black, and a pink. That's what's expected for the overall lineup, both in iPhone 16 and 16 Plus. When it comes to the overall battery, well, the battery is expected to get a little bit larger, where we're going to go from 3,349 milliamp hours to about 3,561 milliamp hours if the rumors are correct. So that gives you an idea of what to expect there. The Plus is also expected to get a decrease in battery size from 4,383 down to about 4,006. Now, maybe that won't make a difference due to the overall chipset efficiency, but we don't really know. As far as a size comparison, let's compare these quickly. You'll see button placement again, but they do look like they're basically the same exact size. At least holding them like this, they feel the same. They have rounded corners. You can see from the top-down perspective, basically the same thing. Again, from the side, even button placement is very, very similar. Whether or not you'll be able to use the same exact cases is hard to say, but it looks like they may fit without a problem. As far as thickness, again, side by side, they look very, very similar. Maybe slightly thinner, but at this point, it's hard to say. Hopefully they'll fit in the same cases, but we won't know that for sure until they actually release. But at least the camera cutout, it would have to be slightly larger to fit in a similar case. Other than that, though, dimension-wise, it looks like it's basically the same. And we expect similar things with the Plus model as well. And so there's not a whole lot more to talk about other than the Pro models, which are expected to have a slightly different color as well. Apple is supposedly getting rid of the blue color in favor of maybe a pink color, or now we're hearing bronze instead. Sometimes we don't know until last minute, but once we do, of course, I'll be sure to let you know. And if I can get my hands on maybe some versions of them that look similar, I'll be sure to let you know there as well. And with the Pro model, again, it looks very similar from the back, but we should have a capture button along with an action button as well. So that's expected to come to all of the different phones this year, but I would love to hear from you. Do you really like these colors? Which color do you prefer the most? I really like the blue here, but I've heard quite a few people say they like the green, and these could be off by a few shades, but in general, this is what we're expecting. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already, though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.